Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. To my international crowd, thank you. The UK, Ireland, India, Nepal, Italy, South Korea, Nigeria, South Africa, Canada, Belgium, thank you so much for tuning in. If you are in the West Coast, my time. If you're in LA, stay safe because the fires are absolutely crazy. I know people who have who had to evacuate. It's crazy. And to my U.S. audience, I love you. I love my international audience. I love everyone. Thank you for watching. What can I tell you other than what's taking place right now is I can't tell you. This is not hyperbole. This is an existential threat to the Trump administration, to the Trump White House. And hopefully I'm wrong because I listened to Sticks today and he's pretty confident that Trump will be reelected. I was very, very confident up until recently. And the reason that, and hopefully I'm wrong, because if it's between Sticks and me, I'll go with Sticks, not my viewpoint. But Inside Scarlet, hello. I don't see this as a very good thing. I actually think that Sinema, I think the momentum, even though the momentum seems to be Sinema and Nelson, I do think that McSally has a very good chance in Arizona. I think that Rick Scott will actually will actually become senator. But President Trump has to act decisively. I keep saying that. He has to act decisively. He has an attorney general that actually wrote an article I would write. He actually wrote he would indict Clinton. But before we go ahead with that, let me just read you this: how the McSally Sinema race is playing out in Maricopa County. Maricopa County, by the way, went for Trump. So Sinema was up by how many thousand votes? It was basically a 26,000 vote differential, where even though she was up by, I think, 15,000, something like that, you had suddenly Sinema, after a day, up 26,000. Now, it's interesting. This is the problem with Democrats. They blame Trump for working with Russia, or they claim that Trump worked with Russia without any evidence. But they don't write articles with titles that say, John Brennan accused Trump of working with Russia without any evidence. They don't write titles like that. What they do is they simply say, oh, yeah, well, the intelligence community is highly to moderately confident. And then we have a Steele dossier that's purchased by Hillary Clinton. We basically have nothing, but we're going to talk about it endlessly. And because we're going to talk about it endlessly, then that'll make Trump guilty in some manner. It's so overt, and it's just unbelievable, and it's working. People are... So, I'll just get to the point. Sinema's lead is now 20,000 more votes than McSally, when McSally had something like 15,000 more votes. Republican Martha McSally path to the U.S. Senate narrowed with Friday's latest tabulation of votes from Tuesday's election, which showed Democrat Kristen Sinema widening her lead in a race that remains a tortuous limbo. So this is the problem with being up on election day. We have no idea if they're actually counting legitimate vote. Why should we trust? Well, first of all, we should never trust the vote counters in Florida. I mean, Debbie Wasserman Schultz is there. Hello. But why should we trust any count that takes place after, any tabulation, any tally that takes place after Election Day? Why should we? Why should we as a nation? I mean, honestly, even on election day, it's like, how, how do we know? How do we know that there aren't people who are just stuffing votes? We have no clue. We have no clue. Simply saying we have no evidence regarding this type of thing when people have been cheated, when the whole Russian hacking myth is based on the Russians informing us that Bernie Sanders was cheated. Lum, we all know it's voter fraud, same as Florida. It is fraud. Well, I'll say this, it's very likely fraud. I can't say categorically. So H.A. Goodman cannot say categorically it is fraud, it is illegal. I do know there were about 10 House races that were razor close. I do know there were about 10 House races that were razor close. So, and we have Florida. Look, worst case scenario, instead of a 4 Senate lead, let's say worst case scenario, Scott loses and Sinema wins. It's a 3-seat buffer. Anyone that Trump picks for SCOTUS, if, God forbid, something happens to Ruth Bader Ginsburg, he's going to get through. So, I mean, the Democratic Party is absolutely ruthless. They fight and they claw and they fight and they scratch and they claw and they fight and they fight and they fight and they scratch and they claw. Meanwhile, Republicans are weak. Now, Trump is different. I'm a Trump supporter. I'm going to vote Trump. Trump is different. Trump fights. But he had Paul Ryan, he had Jeff Flake, he had Jeff Sessions. These people are turncoats. These people are backstabbers. You know that song, The Smiling in Your Face? All the time they want to take your place. They're backstabbers. And the best line of the whole thing is, you don't even be home, but they still keep on calling because your wife is there. So that's the Jeff Flake, the backstabbers. Backstabbers. They're backstabbing people. Jeff Flake. Backstabbers. Absolute backstabbers. And it's like President Trump needs to. Thank you, Dave Roberts. President Trump, lum. We know it's Florida. We know it's fraud. But he needs to fight. He needs to act decisively and quickly. If he does not act decisively and quickly, I feel that 2020 is lost. Now, if I feel this, I could be wrong. I hope that I'm wrong. I could be wrong, and I hope that I'm wrong. I've been a bit humbled lately, but I feel that I have a good pulse of what goes on generally, and I think I do. Sessions is out. The Russian hacking nonsense is over. Clinton is not president. I stated that. But you have a situation where it's Trump versus the world because the Republican Party is not going to represent. Now, what's taking place in Florida is an abomination. He won a court battle, but he can't see the ballots. John O. He is handling it. I hope he does. Boxer pause. Boxer pause. Thank you. Nikos, thank you. That's fine. Sticks is the man. He is the man. I hope that Trump wins 2020, and I want him to win. And I predicted I predicted he would win on November 9th, 2016. But I learned something about the media the other day. The media, I didn't think the media would be all powerful. I didn't think the media would I didn't think the media would be as influential. Nick, you know, I'll tell you something. McSally losing Arizona makes no sense to me because she was up in early voting. McSally was up. Well, Republicans were up in Arizona by what, 8 points? First 11 points, then 8 points. So I find it very striking that suddenly she has a 20,000 vote lead. Now, it's only hilarious because I find it so ridiculous. Rick Scott had a 57,000 vote lead. I'm going to say that again. Because it's nauseating. Absolutely nauseating. 57,000 vote lead in Florida. A 57,000 vote lead, ladies and gentlemen, in Florida. Okay. It's now 15,000, ladies and gentlemen, in Florida. Okay. And they suddenly found tens of thousands of votes in metropolitan areas that gravitate towards Democrats. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that peculiar? Isn't it rich? Da-da-da-da. It's like the Sinatra song. Suddenly they're finding votes after the election in metropolitan areas. Wow. So I just did an upload. 57,000 votes lead down to 15,000. Gee, that's a coinky dink. How did that happen? Oh, golly gee, that, it just must be just the way the cookie crumbles. It's just the way the cookie crumbles. Thank you, Keaton Gibb. Thank you. It's just the way the cookie crumbles. Debbie Wasserman Schultz would never cheat anyone. She would never cheat anyone. This is my upload, my latest upload. Oh, and thank you, Bernie. Thank you, Bernie, for defending Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Thank you, Bernie. Thank you. Thank you for defending Debbie Wasserman Schultz against a big bad Rick Scott. Thank you for insulting DeSantis. Thank you for not speaking out. If someone cheated me, I'd be like Trump. I'd gnaw at their brain. But that's not the way Bernie is. He's fighting for the 1%. He's going to fight for the 1%. Even if it means getting in bed with Debbie Wasserman Schultz. If I have to defend the Democratic Party that cheated me, that suffered from Russia hacking the DNC to let people know that the Democrats were cheating me, in other words, then letting people know I was cheated, which perhaps I should actually say something about, but I won't, to fight the 1%, to get Medicare for all, which I'll never get because Pelosi was using me. She was using me. Oh. Ay, ay, ay. John O! Well, that's John O, The way Broward County works is like, we have 100,000 ballots. So what do you mean you have 100,000? Can we look at them? No. Matthew Gates was like, the Matt Gates, the congressman, was actually videotaped, and they had like what, state police. Like, you can't look at the ballots. Sorry, can't look at the ballots. He's like, what do you mean I can't look at the ballots? Like, no, sorry. Nobody can look at the ballots, and the tabulation, the counting is not being videotaped. And all of the ballots after 7 p.m. on Tuesday are not supposed to be counted. We have no idea how many ballots after 7 p.m. have been counted. Again, on Tuesday evening, 7 p.m. Florida time, we have after 7 p.m. Florida time, no ballot is supposed to be counted. No vote is supposed to be counted. We have no idea how many votes have been counted after 7 p.m. I mean, after how many votes came in after 7 p.m. Just watched part of Bill Maher's show tonight, and wow, liberals are scared, not just of Trump, but especially of Matt Whitaker. Please, Matt, please. Please, Matt Whitaker. God, give Matt Whitaker the strength to lift as much weight as he wants in the gym. I went to the gym today, Lord, and I thought of Matthew Whitaker. Please give him the strength to indict Clinton. Once he indicts Clinton, it's game over. It's game over. And also, the thing is, you can't simply say, because we know that the election is 6'5", and that's right. My God, you don't want to mess with that guy. Tony Mathis, the difference between 2008 Broward County and 1915 Southern counties is now masculine election, same party, same tactics. The Democratic Party cheats. Ask Bernie Sanders. Tony Mathis. Democrats cheat. And he needs to, Colonel Sanders. Tony Mathis, he needs to act decisively. Because if he doesn't act decisively, Trump, it gives them all the time in the world to continue doing their craziness, acting in an insane manner. John O, thank you. Tony Mathis, thank you. John O, what I was trying to say without being offensive is the fraud having African-American communities. John O, here's the thing. My official statement is this. H.A. Goodman does not know if there's fraud committed. What I do know is that Debbie Wasserman Schultz has committed fraud. What I do know is that Broward County has committed fraud. What I do know is that it makes no sense at all in Arizona if somebody is up by 15,000 votes and then down by 20,000 votes in a matter of a day in a red state. If you were in a red state, this should not happen. Should not happen. And I'll just read this. Kristen Sinema's lead over Martha McSally widens in roller coaster U.S. Senate race to replace Jeff Flake. Jeff Flake, by the way, is probably one of the biggest problems. He's almost like a Republican Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Oh, you entered my elevator? Oh, what am I to do? Oh, I'll listen to you. I feel so guilty. I feel so bad. Keith Ellison. I feel so bad and guilty. Let me continue to destroy an innocent man's life. You're in my elevator. I really don't know what to say. I'm just so embarrassed. I'm mortified. It's more than being embarrassed. It's mortification. It's shame and embarrassment all wrapped into one. I'm Jeff Flake. I'm going to pave the way for Kristen Sinema to ensure that Democrats don't get a senator in Arizona. The guy was the biggest failure, one of the biggest failures of all time. It's unbelievable. It is unbelievable the failure this guy was. Oh no, a protester went into my elevator. What am I going to do now? I don't want to be rude, but I have to go down to the lobby. My scooter is there in the garage. How can I get to my scooter? I can't walk 15 flights. I'm Jeff Flake. Jono, Tammany Hall didn't disappear. Just moved to Warcliffe. Seriously, this is exactly like Tammany Hall. This is exactly like Tammany Hall. This is exactly like Tammany Hall. This is exactly like the party bosses. And you know who helped everything out? Bernie Sanders. Bernie did not put his foot down. I don't even know if he has a foot to put down. Bernie is an independent. He could have simply, because you know that whole thing. You know what happened with Bernie Sanders? Jill Stein called him. Jill Stein called him and said, "Look, join me. We'll start a new party." Thank God they didn't, because I would probably be there now. I was so into Bernie. I'd probably be there now, and I wouldn't, be I wouldn't be an NRA member. I wouldn't be part of the Gun Owners of America. I'd probably be there now, because I would say, this guy fights. This guy fights for me. He's a fighter. I want a fighter. I just want a fighter. And what I loved most about Bernie, that not $15 an hour, not Medicare for all, the fact that he was less militant than Democrats, and Trump is less militant than the neocons. Trump is less militant than the neocons in the Democratic Party. John O, thank you. Cool Blue 71, A-Shape. Why are there people who underestimate Trump? Those opposing Trump, understandable politics, but at least realize he is, just one word, crafty. Oh no, Trump is the man. He probably has a bunch of things up his sleeve. Cool Blue 71. They better be indicting Clinton. Look, Cool Blue 71 and all 626 people watching. He only has about 4 months, a little over 4 months, before the Senate needs to confirm in the Vacancy Act in the 1968, I forgot what year, but there's a Vacancy Act that Andrew McCarthy in the National Review. Oh, I have it right here. Hold on 1 second. You took a screenshot of it. Where is it? Lord. All right, hold on 1 second. All right. The Vacancy Act enables the president to name an acting officer who may serve as such for 210 days, as long as the person named has been working at the agency or department for at least 90 days in a fairly high-ranking position. Whitaker qualifies. So he was chief of staff, I believe, for Sessions. So He has 210 days. Okay, so 7 months. He's got 7 months to indict Clinton, ladies and gentlemen. Do it. Do it. Oh my God. Oh, there's gonna be rioting. People are already, violent. Oh, Clinton's gonna take everyone down. Let her take everyone down. You go after the source of all the money. You're not going to have, oh, look, Sinema's up by 10,000, 20,000 votes. Isn't that interesting? She was down by 15. Now she's up by 20. Isn't that funny? You're not going to have Rick Scott losing after he was up by 57,000 votes. Now they want to go after DeSantis. No. No way. You need to, and there's certain people on the left that don't get it. The lifeblood of the Democratic Party is Bill and Hillary Clinton. It's just two names, Bill and Hillary Clinton. Exactly, Jeanette, exactly. President Trump must act decisively. Now, let me read you this. Republican Martha McSally path to the U.S. Senate narrowed with Friday's latest tabulation of votes from Tuesday's election. So there shouldn't be a Friday tabulation if it's a Tuesday election. Sorry. Most of Arizona's voting was pre-election day. It was like 75%. So you have 20,000, but you have statewide about 360,000 ballots. It's a red state. About 266,000 Maricopa County ballots remain uncounted. Sinema is winning the Republican-leaning Maricopa County. I find that difficult to believe. I'm sorry. When Maricopa went for Trump, I'm sorry. I think Arpaio is from there. So when ballots have been tabulated, McSally has not won any batch of votes in Maricopa County. That's ridiculous, including elderly votes. That's also ridiculous. Posted on election day, votes cast at polling places on election day and early ballots counted. So somebody monitor. Look, you are trusting people in Florida, of all places, in Arizona, to just count ballots. You are trusting people to count ballots when you know that Bernie Sanders was cheated because Putin hacked the DNC. No, it never happened. And therefore swung swing states to hurt Hillary Clinton. It's all insanity. They're all lying. Why would you trust anyone at this point? There should be 10,000 video cameras counting every single ballot and making sure the ballots are legitimate. It's unclear if McSally will be able to limit her loss in a meaningful way, even with legal settlement struck Friday over the handling of certain ballots by county officials. So, of course if there's 360,000 votes left and she's down by 20,000, she could still win. But at the same time, we have to wonder why the Republican didn't get elderly votes in Maricopa County thus far. That's bizarre. Or within the batch of, that's bizarre. And she was up on election day. This is dangerous. They would be crying foul. If you're up on election day, I'm sorry. That's right. Out of state voters. That's right. John O, my girl's from Miami and is mad because she voted for Scott and DeSantis. John O, thank you, John O. Lola Bells, I agree with you. Look, fight fire with fire. If you're Trump, you need to fight fire with fire. You need to go hard and you need to attack in the manner they attack you. You cannot be civil. And what I mean by that is he has been way too civil. And it's not the left sees it as, oh, you're eating a hamburger. I'm going to make sure that you can't eat your hamburger. That's stupid. That's stupid. That's their version of civility. I'm talking about fighting fire with fire. They cheat. They cheat all the time. Either go after them, well, just go after them and make sure they don't get away with their cheating. Use the federal government. Find out what's going on. Use the federal government. If they're breaking federal laws cheating, or if they're breaking state laws cheating, there's a way to Nikos, thank you. Because you can't be on the defensive. Look, the mindset is, well, we can't fire Mueller because then the media will go crazy. The media is already going crazy every day. Every day they go crazy. Every day it's something else. Every day it's something else. We're going to lose we could possibly lose the Arizona Senate seat. John O, fight fire with fire and fury. That's right. That's right. I think that Scott will win because he's still up and there's so much corruption. We just don't know how much corruption there is in Arizona. See, this is hilarious. Arizona Democrats are benefiting from the fact Florida Democrats are so insanely corrupt. Because the Arizona Democrats are like, look at Florida. We're not Florida. And it's like that song, at least we're not Detroit. We're not Detroit. It's and at least Scott is up. But how do you start with a lead? How do you end election day with a lead? So McSally had 15,000 votes, and Scott had 57,000 votes. They should make a law like one day after election day, and that's it. That's it. That's it. Doug E. Trump tweeted, the signatures don't match in AZ. Yeah. I mean, and I'm an anarchist. Let's see. Can I do it, Johnny? Gosh. Can I do it? Let me see if I can do it, Johnny. Oh, I can't. I love Johnny Carson. I just can't right now. I'm trying to think what he would say. I know. So hold on. Let me think of. Okay, let me think. Oh, let me say. Eric H526. Thank you. I was speaking to Ed today, and Ed, did you not drive that Buick? You drove that Buick. That's right. That's right. You drove that Buick to work. Yeah, say that's the best I can do. Best I can do. I that's actually ridiculous, but thank you. And I'm an thank you. And I'm an anarchist. Thank you. I'll work on my Johnny. How is it? Thank you, and I'm an anarchist. Thank you. How is it that McSally and Scott were up, but they're down now? Oh no. Sorry, Rick Scott is. Thank you. I'm an anarchist. How is it that Rick Scott is only at 15? Let me read you this. So he's up 15,000 right now. He was up 57,000 2 days ago. And he's fighting. I hope McSally fights too. I really hope McSally fights too. Bill Nelson is down 15,074 votes. DeSantis has a lead of 36,211 votes. Like, why are they even recounting? 57,000 votes is not worthy of recounting. I'm sorry. If it's like 6,000 votes, maybe, or even I think it should make it 2,000 votes. Then it says, whoops. Oh, here we go. Brenda Snipes' office mixed bad provisional ballots with good ones. It's just a problem. It's just an example. It's not anyone's fault. It's like that scene in Space and Ghostbusters. We're both lawyers. Come on, we're both lawyers. Whoops, Brenda Snipes' office mixed bad provisional ballots with good ones. Oh, so, okay. A Broward election supervisor accidentally mixed, on purpose, mixed more than a dozen, rejected more than a dozen. I love that. It's just more than a dozen times 1,000, times 20,000. Broward election supervisor accidentally mixed more than a dozen rejected ballots with nearly 2,200 valid ones. A circumstance that is unlikely to help Brenda Snipes push back against Republican allegations of incompetence. The mistake, for which no one had a solution Friday night, was discovered after Snipes agreed to present 205 provisional ballots to Broward County Canvassing Board for inspection. So in a sample batch of 200, they found 12 not good. It's like 10%. Oh my God. She had initially intended to handle the ballots administratively, but agreed to present them to the canvassing board after Republican attorneys objected. We have found clear authority control the situation faced by the board. Oh my God. Oh my God. 10% of these things are completely messed up. Oh my God. Oh my God. All right. So, but a couple hundred provisional ballots were held in limbo. These ballots were the result of a connectivity issue in the system that precincts used to look up voter registration. What? A connectivity issue in the system? What does that even mean? A connectivity issue in the system. Voters would swipe their ID and the precinct system would show they weren't registered. But when staffers called the Broward election headquarters, the voters' registration would appear. What? precinct workers had those 205 voters fill out provisional ballots? What? What? How did they do that? No, 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 no. Sorry. Voters would swipe their ID at a precinct system, and they weren't registered. Then staffers would call the Broward election headquarters, and the voters would be registered. That's baloney. The precinct. What evidence does the Broward election headquarters have that these voters are registered? This is so great. Voters would swipe their ID, and the precinct system would show they weren't registered voters. Why? Oh, because it's a connectivity issue. Oh, well, if it's a connectivity issue, what's the problem then? Psychotic philosophy. Thank you. So I don't understand something. This is very, very bizarre. You have people showing up and they're not registered. Okay. But they're registered when they call the Broward election headquarters. What does that have to do with? So then the precincts just gave them 205 ballots to fill out. So they gave voters who were not registered ballots to fill out. That's essentially what took place. They also utilized boxes, by the way, that were reused. So they had ballot boxes. They had ballot boxes that stored ballots. But when when people were like, hey, those are boxes, they must be full of ballots and votes, they looked in, they saw staplers and pens and stickers. So like, what's going on here? They said, well, we reuse the cardboard boxes that cost $2 or not even 50 cents. These are like cardboard boxes with hieroglyphics from ancient times. They're heirlooms. They're it's anthropology here. We cannot, this is like, you would see this at like the Louvre. They have these boxes. This is part of human history, these boxes. This is not just cardboard. So they reuse the boxes. And what they do is they take the ballots and the votes from the boxes and put them in these plastic baggies, which would obviously lead to people losing votes. The whole thing is set up for plausible deniability and incompetence. Betsy, this is insane. The process doesn't exist. The process is that the ballots aren't opened. I would suggest to the board that this process would stop. They're not even pretending like they're not pretend. Oh, by the way, and so this is the thing. Rick Scott is not able to see these ballots or these votes. He's not able to see anything. Broward County does not let anyone in. They should let people in. This is okay. Look, this is the best thing you'll ever hear all day. This weekend. It might be the best thing you hear this weekend, okay? It's probably the best thing that you're going to hear in the next 10 minutes. Okay? Box left at Broward. Box left at Broward polling place didn't contain ballots. Well, what did it contain? The Holy Grail. What? Well, if the ballot box didn't contain ballots, then what did it have? I could do a good Harry Carey. Grew up in a sun-soaked land and lost a pop fly in the sun. Harry Carey. I probably should do better than that, but so these boxes are meant to H2 foo. These boxes are meant to store ballots. But they're not storing ballots. They're storing something else. Okay, I took a photo of the large gray bin with a slot on top and the paper affixed to the side that read provisional ballots. when they're done with voting, all such ballots have a sign on one side that say ballots and a sign on the other side that reads supply box. Supply box. Get it? Okay. After the ballots are used, they're turned into supply boxes that hold signs, pens, envelopes, extension cords, and election manuals. But wouldn't that make it easier to cheat? Since you're removing ballots and votes from boxes that are holding these ballots and votes. And you're reusing 2-cent cartons, cardboard boxes under the guise of needing a place to put pens, envelopes, and extension cords. How stupid do you think people are? KKU, exactly. Again, let me explain this to you. Let me explain this to everyone here. Box left at Broward. This is the Sun Sentinel. Box left at Broward polling place didn't contain ballots. Well, what did it contain? Pens, envelopes, extension cords, signs, and election manuals. And then the reason it did is because it was turned from a provisional ballot box to a supply box. Why was it turned to a supply box? The article doesn't say. There are important gray boxes seen at each polling site, containers that are used to store people's votes. Poll workers later remove the ballots and leave the boxes at polling sites for pickup. On Thursday, 2 days after the election, a teacher spotted one of these boxes at Sunshine Elementary School in Miramar and worried ballots might still be inside. People's votes might still be inside. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? But that's not the case. That's not the case, a Broward County election official says. Just like other boxes, this container in question held supplies, not ballots. But where did the ballots go? No one knows. The ballots are missing. Nobody knows where they are. That's sad. Speaking to reporters Thursday, Spencer said these boxes are used to hold provisional ballots. And when the polls close, in order to recycle, the ballots are transferred to a zippered bag. Well, that's safe. Nobody can break into a zippered bag. Fort Knox is actually full of zippered bags of gold and taken to the election warehouse. Okay. This is tailor-made for like immense fraud, voting fraud. Spencer displayed one of the boxes. Here's the boxes to show that how the ballot-free boxes then double as a place to store an inventory of items. These boxes double? Oh my God, it's a double agent. It's a double agent of boxes. Because why would you actually take boxes full of ballots and votes? You would naturally put them in zippered little plastic baggies and then use the boxes because you don't want to hurt the environment, global warming, and then put signs, pens, envelopes, extension cords, and election manuals. It's so awesome. They remain at polling sites with the election machines and other equipment until they're picked up by the Broward election office. Quote, we pick up all our supplies. It takes 8 days to deliver everything to polling sites. What? There's no way I could pick up everything in 2 days. Why not? Why not? Are you serious? Okay. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. They cheat beyond belief. They cheat beyond belief. Thank goodness I was right about the Senate. I was half right, better than Nate Silver in 2016, who said Clinton had an 80% chance of winning. What kind of buffoon would say? Well, Nate Silver's a brilliant man. I don't want to call. My goodness. Of course, I said that Clinton would lose, whereas other pundits said that Clinton would win, but but that Trump could win, but that Clinton would win. But Trump could win, but that Clinton would win. But you better believe Trump could win. That's the prediction some people have said. I'm all in, baby. In 2016, I said Clinton is going to lose. And she lost. Luckily, at least I got the Senate right. That was good of me. Oh, my goodness. Cheating all the way. Cheating. My God almighty. The good Lord. Check out my Daily Caller article, but my Jerusalem Post article below. President Trump's words do not incite hate. God, they just cheat all the time. They can't win normally. They need to cheat. They need to cheat. When was the last time the RNC cheated a candidate? JB, this is crazy. And you have like about 10 or 15 House races that are razor close. Hi, Lonesome Hillbilly. Thank you. I'm just so glad Bernie is defending Debbie Wasserman. That's fantastic. That's really good. Wrote 100 articles in the hell of the Huffington Post salon. Now there's a hashtag Bernie would have won. Thank God Trump would have won. But at that time, Bernie would have won. Thank you, Lola Bells. Thank you. But as my buddy keeps reminding me, most of my friends are Democrats. They look at me like I'm a pariah or something. It's like, what's wrong with you? I was like, well, I don't want to be part of an evil political party. I'd rather have peace between North and South Korea, something Obama could not have done. Zach Christensen, if they keep digging, you could find out you were correct on the House. Thank you, Zach. Thank you, Zach Christensen. I don't doubt there could have been widespread fraud. Let's put it this way. H.A. Goodman does not have evidence of fraud, but I'm utilizing the Steele dossier and the CIA's highly confident and the NSA's moderately confident view of Russia. I'm highly to moderately confident that there was widespread voter fraud in the Senate and the House, just like the CIA is highly to moderately confident based on the Steele dossier that has caused BuzzFeed to sue the DNC. But as one of my buddies loves Nate Silver, and I said, well, he's wrong. He was wrong about so many things. No, he's not wrong. He's not wrong. He gives a 20 to 30% chance something could happen. So that me too. I also gave 10% chance. Nobody heard that. That's what I told my buddy. Oh, yeah, I give a 10% chance. Me too. Jeanette. Thank you. Cool Blue 71. Florida has carried every presidential winner except 1960, 92. Wow. 1960 and 1992. That's actually a really interesting statistic. That is an interesting statistic. There's a person on YouTube that always disparages me, always insults me, calls me a lunatic. This guy, H.A. Goodman, he's a lunatic. He's crazy. He's a crazy lunatic, H.A. Goodman. He's a crazy person. This is what I got to deal with. You understand? I've been dealing with this for like 3 years already. The Daily Beast, the Raw Story. I have message boards. Oh my God. Reddit. Don't get me started on Reddit. Thank you. And I'm an anarchist. Thank you. H.A. Goodman's a lunatic. H.A. Goodman's crazy. He's a crazy person. He's a crazy, crazy person. King Hong Lee, thank you. Scott Lee, I hope so too. I hope the Messiah comes. Any Messiah. Christian, Jewish, Muslim, any Messiah. Please. Please. The Democrats are going crazy. We need an end. Julian. Thank you, Zach Christensen. Thank you. Jim Acosta. I love psychotic philosophy. I love they gaslight themselves. Democrats are great at gaslighting. It was a doctored video. It's not doctored if it's slow motion. Like Chariots of Fire, like dun 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 dun. Nobody says they weren't running. It's a doctored video. They were really sitting down and meditating. No. They were running. And it was slow motion. And Jim Acosta's like, you're not going to get this microphone, lady, because I'm Jim Acosta. And you can feel my guns. Look at these guns. Yeah. "Yeah, you're not gonna take this. Take this. I'll show you what a social construct is. Take this. Take this. Huh? Not from me, lady. It was a man. Better believe. I'll hold this mic with my cold dead hands." Never thought I'd say it, but I want Trump to go ham. Have DHS immediately seize all ballots and election records for review. This is fraud. And he said, Mister. Yeah, I agree with you. But you got to understand also, like, this is the problem that I see. Mister, and Lum, and everyone. I have a problem with the media. My problem with the media is that it's very powerful and it gets people to think stupid things. So people are now viewing Jim Acosta as like the most amazing person on the planet. And that is a big problem. That's a huge problem. Big problem. Tony Mathis. I just found some Arizona and Broward ballot. Just give them, just mail them to Broward County. They'll count them. Believe me. You know, HV. That's so awesome. Ay, ay, ay. Ay, 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 ladies and gentlemen. Tony Mathis, I just found some. That's an insult to cats. That's good. Jerry Sparks. I'll be very upset if McSally loses. But even if McSally loses, I do believe, very much believe, that Scott will win. So we're up 3, baby. We're up 3. Can you say Amy Coney Barrett? Yeah. You like that, don't you? Amy Coney Barrett. Like that, liberals. I like that a lot. Amy Coney Barrett. Say it slowly. Love that. Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen. OMG, what did I walk into? All right, ladies and gentlemen, God bless. Thank you so very much. And to my super chat, thank you so very much. And don't praise Jim Acosta. Exactly. Cool Blue 71. Julian Assange is the most worthy of praise. Exactly. All right. God bless Julian Assange and his amazing, remarkable mom, Mrs. Christine Assange. God bless you all, everyone. Lola Bells, thank you. God bless you all. Thank you. I'll see you tomorrow. And let's hope they don't cheat. That's all I can tell you. Cheaters, backstabbers. Thank you so much. To my super chat, thank you. Have a great evening. I'll see you tomorrow.